Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Business Roundtable. I am slightly bloated. I apologize to the audience. I don't know why I'm retaining a little bit of water. But today we're going to talk about the dangers.
Too much sodium.
The dangers of wantrepreneur.
You know what I miss?
What?
I miss playing music in the background.
Oh.
I'm gonna connect my phone.
No, but he puts it on. He puts the beats on
for
the show.
us because I need to.
No.
I play that jazz shit, bro.
So, like the great Mark Cuban says, certain individuals are considered a wantrepreneur.
But it's all about making somebody else do the work. I see you guys not as entrepreneurs, but as wantrepreneurs.
Now, I don't want to put down anybody who's an aspiring entrepreneur, but you do see, and we see out in the field on the daily, we talk to people who they worked for a company. Let's say they're a facilitator. Let's say it's, I'll give you an example. Let's just say it's a window installation company.
Mm-hmm. Or a home improvement company.
Or whatever.
Whatever.
And the person that actually installs or does the actual physical work, the delivery, gets motivated and jumps into business. Now, God bless, I support that mindset. I am very gung-ho about it. But what we notice is there's a lack, sometimes, people will jump into business not knowing what goes into it fully. The stresses, the issues, the challenges, and the investments required to build a somewhat even fairly successful business. Successful meaning you can pay yourself, you can grow, you can hire, okay? And you're thriving. In order to make this happen, we sometimes have to deal with the challenge of that wantrepreneur.
Yeah, so there's a mindset and an understanding and just there's a certain amount of knowledge and understanding and mindset that you need to do that and to go off on your own and to start something and not get a full understanding of it and the moving pieces and the background pieces and everything is totally contradictory to what, is the right way to do things. When you start a business, you need to understand it fully.
For example, understanding it fully. Let me give you an analogy. I'm the king of analogies, from fruit trees to you name it. Mm-hmm. I love giving people analogies. There was one time that we had a business trip and we had a little bit of free time, and I was subject to trying out the Hulk roller coaster. Now, just like a wantrepreneur, he looks at the surface, right? He sees like the success and the money and all the employees, and he's like, I'm gonna do this too. Just like me in Florida, when I looked at that Hulk, the roller coaster, and I see all the graphics, and I see the picture of the Hulk, all jacked. I'm like, yeah, like the little kid in me was like, fuck. So I get in line, we're waiting in line, and I can't wait.
How much I'd pay to have a video of that.
I can't wait to be a business owner. I can't wait to go on this Hulk ride.
This is a perfect analogy.
I can't wait to go on the Hulk ride. That ride was pure hell. It was the closest thing to dying.
He was convinced that his organs.
Dude, hold on. Let's back up.
Babe,
It was the Hulk ride. You can show a clip of it. The Hulk roller coaster at Universal Studios. Holy smokes! The centrifugal force, the G-force, squeezed my organs.
Dude, it was so funny.
There was no escaping. I was in that bitch. I'm like, ah.
Yo, okay, so ready? At first it was really funny. But then I got to a point where I genuinely felt bad.
My organs were so compressed.
There was no emotion. It was just panic.
We tried to get a bite to eat, and this is all relevant. This is me getting lured in by the Hulk. I'm like, oh. I'm looking at the surface, right? You see the business owner with the Ferrari and you see the employees and this and that. Oh, I want to do it too. There's a lot that comes with it, my child. Now, just like the Hulk ride, my organs.
Wait, make the face that you made the whole time in the ride. Just do the one. Like, it was just straight up.
I was doing this. I was holding the thing and I was going, just holding the things, just holding these, I burned 3,000 calories. every bit of force that I felt like I was bending the metal thing.
It's funny because before we went on the ride, he was like, I'm not a big fan of roller coasters. And I was like,
this one looks kind of cool.
I was like, nah, it's good. It's fun.
I'm like, this one kind of looks cool. I got lured in just like the Wantrepreneur. He gets lured in. And I support the go-getter attitude. Like, hey, I want to go get it.
And see, and here's the other side. Let's talk about the Velocicoaster. At the Velocicoaster at the same place. See, when someone who understands what they're getting themselves into, they go on that roller coaster and they understand. They understand the metrics, the movements, the things that are going on. But then you get on and it's twisting and you launch at 80 miles per hour. You're like, oh shit, you're smiling a little bit and then it gets oh shit. And then you're sticking in there, right? You're sticking in. But let's say that was a little weird way to put it. But
let's say you're an executive within the company.
You stick it in.
You're an executive within the company. You understand the inner workings of the company, from finance to accounts receivable to investing and growing.
All the different
then
moves.
Maybe you might have the ability and experience and fortitude to start your own company. If you can, God bless. I support you. But there is a difference if you are starting something and you weren't exposed to the inner workings, because just like that roller coaster, I went in and boy, I was losing my mind. So we tried to eat. Every bite of food actually hurt.
He was convinced
this
that
is how
his
I knew.
organs were fucked up.
So I think what happened was my stomach bag, whatever you want to call it, it squeezed.
The pouch of stomach.
So the stomach and the intestines, I think, were flattened. Dude, this is the way it felt.
I know.
And
I felt so bad, but it was so funny.
I ordered lasagna
at a nice
restaurant.
Yeah.
And I was like dipping the bread in oil and I'm eating it. And I ordered, I think, lasagna, some kind of pasta dish.
Yeah, bolognese maybe.
Yeah, and I'm eating it. And I'm like, every bite, I was like, oh my God. I gotta go to the bathroom. And I was like, and Jake's like, bro, are you all right? Are you all right? I go, dude, that thing messed me up. And it was like, it could be looked at as, oh, I'm exaggerating. I was in pain.
No,
I was worried I ruptured something.
And that is what happens when you dive too deep.
Yep, there you
When
go.
you dive too deep into business. But listen, at the end of the day, though, nothing, like everything we're saying is for some, if you're in this position, you can still do this. You can still do it. But you have to make sure you understand it and you find someone to partner up with that understands it, or you get the right people, the right group of people together to do this thing you want to do. But going from understanding one piece of a business,
just one piece,
or two or three, diving deep in and saying, I'm going to do it myself. It's possible. You could do it. But understand all the moving pieces and the parts and the heartaches and the headaches and the back pains and the good things will still potentially be there, but you have to get together a group. You have to be prepared for those things.
So, and let's show some supporting graphics of some examples. So this is like deep sea diving. Let's say you went to the beach a couple times with your friends and you used the flippers that you put on your feet and you flipped around in the beach and you go faster and you're like, you know what? I'm really good at flipping the flippers on my feet. I'm going to start doing deep sea diving right now. There are certain rules with deep sea diving that could fucking kill you. It could kill you if you do it wrong. There are several rules and processes that you have to follow. So you go in that water, maybe you didn't take the proper or whatever, or you go too deep. Now you got what they call it, the bends. Now you're like, and you're down there.
Well, the bends could actually kill you.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It can kill you.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah,
real.
the
This is
air
a
and
good
oxygen in your
analogy.
brain.
So you went from flipping to deep sea diving,
No breath.
right near
Practice.
the Earth's crust.
No, nothing.
You're just down and down and down. Then you start to feel dizzy. You're like, oh, gee whiz, I did this flipper thing, but now I can. Now I'm swimming with whales. There's a whale floating above me. I can't barely think because my head is feeling like it's going
Spinning.
to explode. That's like diving into business without understanding all the stuff that's required to do so effectively and successfully. So what I'm trying to get at is we see sometimes that people will feel froggy, start their own thing, and again, fully supportive, but know what it takes because we will talk to them and they're like, what? Are you crazy? Wait, when we're like, this is normal. Do you want to grow? Well, yeah, but gee whiz, I could buy a Corvette with this money.
Well, it's not always about the money part, though. There's a lot of
sometimes people, you tell them what it takes to grow and they object. They put the money on a pedestal and they're like, what? And you're like, but it takes that to grow. It takes, you gotta invest money to make money back. And that's the piece that I feel that all entrepreneurs, you want to flash and wave the entrepreneur flag. You got to understand all the things that are required. It's not even just investing in growth. It's like, get proper insurance, right? Cover your ass. Follow employment law. There are people out there that will just hire willy-nilly and they don't even know their state's laws. Look into these things. Can you hire a 1099 freely? No problems. If you can in your state, what are the rules? So I'm trying to get it. It's not just about growth. I don't want to be biased, just talking about what we do for people, but I'm talking about just business as a whole.
There's a lot of
stuff.
There's a lot that goes into it, yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that I'll admit I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one that manages this stuff. I luckily, knock on wood, have great business partners and team members that can assist us with a lot of a variety of things that no one person could manage. And that's another thing, the solopreneur thing. You're pulling away from possible bandwidth that would 3x, 5x your business by not being a solopreneur. And I understand totally that people have to start out like that in the beginning. But it comes with a cost.
Well, I've talked about this before. I mean, what is it called? It starts with a D when you hire someone to replace a position, like to do something that you're doing. Delegation. I think that there are a top like 5 to 10 things that are really, really important with business to understand and to do. Delegation is in the top 3 for me. Delegation is so important. And so being a solopreneur, obviously you're holding yourself back, but you need to understand how to delegate and do it properly and how to find the right people to do things for you. That's just another piece, right? We have a whole episode on it, which I think I want to do another one. But
so you can make yourself, and I don't want to sound.
Talk about things you can do.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to get into. I'm about to get
entrepreneur.
into it. Excuse me. You don't have to stay a wantrepreneur. You can actually grow, which I want to see everybody do. Grow and become better. But you have to understand all the facets of business. If you want to understand business and you want to just kind of do a little studying, there are a ton of videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
A ton. Look things up. Go to Barnes & Noble. Look up a book. Go to Audible. You're gonna find business ebooks.
You're gonna find yourself in a rabbit hole. The way that I sometimes learn things is if I understand in general, just like basic things about a certain thing in business or whatever it is, you start to do research. You search that thing up. You search things that have to do with it up and how they correlate. And you dive deep, and you can understand things pretty quickly as long as you know how to do your research. And
like when you form an LLC, let's say you do, thank God, well, hopefully. You form an LLC in certain states. Well, I know our state, you got to send in an annual report. Let's say you don't follow that. You don't do that. And accidentally, maybe your business gets dissolved, or it's not active, it's not in good standing, and you just don't know. You're running your solopreneurship. You're out there doing the work, working in your business, not on your business. And me, myself, I can be guilty of that because I'm very much into the business generation. Like, I like to go out and bring in new clients. I like to meet with people. I like to talk to them about their issues. You know, back in the day, I used to have a bunch of salespeople, and I just felt that it was a little bit, it was very different. So if I meet with someone and talk to them about growing their business, it had a lot more weight versus, let's say, a guy that's on a commission, you know, it's a little bit less weight. So I'd rather like go in as a consultant, which I am, and so is Jake, and we want to teach people better ways of doing things. And 9 times out of 10, we go in, we make some adjustments, and people see really good results. What I'm trying to get at is, when you go into business, understand that you have the company's presentation, you have the company's formation, which is LLC, S Corp, whatever. Then you have insurance. You have to have some kind of liability insurance. If you are running a business as a wantrepreneur with no insurance, okay, maybe in the beginning, you can't really swing it right now because it might be like $3-4 grand. All right, can't swing it right now, but every day that you go by without liability at the minimum opens you up to possible issues. These are the things that are very important. So insurance, classification of your staff. So let's say you hire one person, right? You're starting out, you hire one person. Are they a W-2 employee or are they a 1099 contractor? You have to understand the differences. You have to understand the rules. But it's important for wantrepreneurs to understand all the facets and important pieces of business. So when they go into business, they do it in a productive and professional manner where they are actually handling all the silos versus just doing. I'm just going to go out and do. Dude, I've talked to people that didn't realize, or like they forgot to even file taxes. Like they run with their business and like 3 years go by and they're like, oh, I didn't even file.
Yeah.
But they realize it. Like an honest mistake. Like they didn't do it on purpose. They were like, they would just go, that it hit them and they were like, oh shit. Like 3 years went by and then they're like, oh yeah.
You see, you know, and one big thing that I think we'll leave it off with, the biggest thing I think, the differences between a wantrepreneur and an entrepreneur is the risk taking and the risk management. Because everything that you do within business, investing in growth, hiring someone, knowing these certain things, it's all a risk. Everything is a risk. And as long as you understand those risks and you understand the business and you know how to manage those risks, that's a big difference between a wantrepreneur and an entrepreneur.
Yeah. And when you are in that wantrepreneur type of, you know, one trick pony, you want to go into business for yourself, you know, it's great that you're motivated to do so, but you have to know that there is more to just delivering the product or service. When you are in business, there are other very important things versus, hey, I'm going to go do this and I'm going to do the bare minimum to get the word out there. And then I'm going to scratch my head a year and a half later and wonder why my sales are not that great. You gotta get the word out there. You gotta let people know that you exist. Also, if you are jumping into an industry that's highly competitive, you need to, not maybe, you need to do something different that is going to intercept and compete with competition if you are in a saturated, heavily competitive industry. Whether it's a pizza shop, roofing, salon, it doesn't matter what it is there's a bunch of people doing this. Now you need to separate yourself from the bunch. You need to be the crowbar in the haystack, not the needle in the haystack. Okay? So you gotta be visible. What I'm trying to get at, if you look at a haystack, what I'm trying to say is making yourself so visible. When somebody glances at the haystack, they're like, gee willikers, I see a big crowbar.
The fuck is that?
And they grab the crowbar
Yeah.
and say, eureka. Versus if it's a needle, just doing your little business thing. Nobody really knows who you are other than a few people, a few relatives. Okay.
I mean, honestly, and if you're like going to a haystack and you see a needle, I'd be like, I don't know if I want to touch that. I don't know if I saw a crowbar, I'd be like, that's kind of interesting. There's
it's like a medical needle.
Yeah,
no
like,
cap on
I'm
it.
like,
yeah.
what's
Whoa.
going on here?
Holy crap.
I'm like, it's there. I can see it, but I don't want to touch it, But then your crowbar, shiny chrome gold. Thank you
Ladies
so
and
much for
gentlemen.
joining us
Ladies
today
and
on Real
gentlemen.
Business Roundtable.
Thank you for watching.
Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please like, subscribe, turn on post notifications to get notified every single time we post a new episode. Like, subscribe, and check us out on Instagram for clips, updates, more. Peace out.